season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. I'm your host, Rob Powers. We're so excited you're with us this morning. We hope you'll be with us every Saturday. If you've seen our show, you know how we play. 3 local high school teams will be challenged with questions in subjects like science, math, a few others as well. They earn points and they try to make it onto our leaderboard. At the end of the season, the top 3 scoring teams will be back to play in one final game for the chance to be crowned champion of season number 56. Also up for grabs, money for their school. In fact, once again this year, thanks to our friends at Nordson, the top 5 teams will each receive a share of $20,000 for their school. So one more time, let's say hello to our teams from Clear Fork, Monroeville, and St. Vincent-St. Mary. Are you guys ready to go? Settle in? Here we go. Here comes the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 20 points for a correct answer. You will lose 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. Each team's going to start this game with 100 points. Hands on your buzzers. All ready to go? There are many sights to see, both natural and man-made, as you make your way around the U.S. Identify the following American tourist attractions. Set. You can visit these huge waterfalls on the New York-Canadian border. Monroeville.
Niagara Falls.
That is correct. Located in Alaska, it's our highest mountain. Monroeville.
Mount Denali.
That is correct. This Washington, D.C. memorial is dedicated to our 16th president. Monroeville.
Abraham Lincoln.
That is correct. This landmark arch rises 630 feet. Clear Fork.
St. Louis Arch.
The Gateway Arch, yes. These New Mexico caverns are also a national park. Answer? The Carlsbad Caverns. You can visit the Tomb of the Unknowns at this national cemetery in Virginia, St. V.
Arlington.
That is correct. The 2-word name for this Yellowstone Park geyser refers to its predictable St. V.
Old Faithful.
That is correct. The heads of 4 presidents are carved in this St. V.
Mount Rushmore.
That is correct. In the 1933 film, King Kong climbed this famous New York St. V.
Empire State Building.
That is correct. And for our final lightning round question, we go to the digital marketing coordinator at the Great Lakes Science Center. Here's Jordan Coleman.
For over 12,000 years, humans have occupied this C-initialed Florida Cape, from which many spacecraft have been launched.
Monroeville.
Canaveral.
Canaveral is correct, and that is the end of round number 1. We'll be back with more of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this. Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, scan the QR code you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to News5Cleveland.com's Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of this season's schools' websites right there for you. Time for us now to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. But before we get to the questions, let's meet our team members. We start with Clear Fork. We start with Noelle. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Noelle Klein. I play tennis and softball, and I play the trumpet in the marching band.
We thank you for being here this morning. Hi, Elena.
Hi, I'm Elena Hawkins, and I'm a saxophone section leader in the Clear Fork Marching Band.
Welcome this morning. Addison, you're up.
Hi, I'm Addison Brown. I'm a majorette, and I play saxophone.
Clear Fork, thank you all for being here this morning. For your questions, we go to Monroeville's captain, Jackson. Jackson, you have a clear board here. Envelope 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Envelope 4.
You got it. All right, Clear Fork, these questions are all yours. All set? Here we go. A misguided history student once wrote that Joan of Arc was the wife of what biblical patriarch who built an ark to save animals from the flood?
Noah.
That is correct. John Hancock was the first to sign the Declaration of Independence, but the signer whose name was first alphabetically was what man who became our 2nd president?
John Adams.
That is correct. The first cat video was recorded in 1894 by what American who invented the movie camera and the incandescent light bulb? Answer?
Thomas Edison.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to the process by which the long chains of molecules in crude oil are split into shorter molecules of gasoline? Answer?
Divestment.
It is cracking. Cracking is the answer there. Hamsters are welcomed in most places now, but they originated in what Middle Eastern country where Damascus is the capital? Answer?
Israel.
Syria. Syria is the answer. In an effort to blend in here on Earth, a space alien picked the name of a British car, Ford Prefect, in what Douglas Adams novel? Answer? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's okay. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. Giving your answer as a fraction in lowest terms, what is the positive value of that expression? Answer? 9/11ths. 9/11ths. The first president to wear contact lenses was what 36th chief executive who couldn't see any way to end the Vietnam War? Answer is Lyndon Johnson. Clear for it. Good job. Good run. All right. We move on. Our second team today is from Monroeville. Jackson, you are the captain of Monroeville. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Jackson. I'm a senior, and I play football, basketball, and baseball.
Well, good for you. Thanks for being here. Hi, Lydia.
Hi, my name is Lydia. I'm a senior. I am a majorette, and I'm an NHS.
And you are busy. Lydia, thanks for being here. Hi, Avery.
Hi, I'm Avery. I'm a senior and I play softball and run cross country.
There you go. Monroeville, thank you so much for being here. For your questions, we go to Lane, the St. V's captain. Lane, envelope 1, 2, or 3?
1.
You got it. All right, Monroeville, these are all yours. All set? Here we go. 2 American presidents have had sons who were awarded the highest American military decoration. What is that?
The Medal of Honor.
That is correct. A street named Canusa, spelled C-A-N-U-S-A, separates the residents of Beebe, Vermont from their neighbors in what French-speaking province of Canada?
Quebec.
That is correct. In 1940, the military's Armor Training Center was established at what Kentucky fort that also stores much of the country's gold bullion?
Fort Knox.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. When sodium reacts with water and liberates hydrogen, which of these is the resulting compound?
An acid.
A base. A base is the answer. Istanbul's Bosphorus Bridge connects the European and Asian parts of what country whose capital is Ankara?
Turkey.
That is correct. According to legend, a pet housefly was given a funeral costing over $100,000 by what ancient author of the Aeneid? Answer is Virgil. Virgil. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. What is the value of this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer?
24.
That is correct. After working as a teacher at the New York Institute for the Blind, what young man demonstrated political vision when he became our 22nd and 24th president?
Grover Cleveland.
That is correct. Way to go, Monroeville. Nice round. All right. Team number 3 this morning comes to us from St. Vincent-St. Mary. Lane, congratulations on being named the captain. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Lane Napper. I'm a junior at St. Vincent-St. Mary. I am a part of the stats team for our football team, and I own every jersey in the NFL.
Every jersey is yours.
Yes.
Good for you.
Every team's jersey, at least.
Oh, okay. Whew. I thought you had every jersey, and that's a lot of jerseys. Henry, tell us about yourself.
I'm Henry. I'm a freshman at St. V, and on behalf of the entire team, I would like to give a shout out to our advisor, Mr. Pitts.
Nicely done, Henry. Hi, Luke. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Luke. I'm a junior. I am in the band, and I play lacrosse.
How many jerseys do you own?
I own 0.
Okay, good for you. For your question, St. V, we come back to Noel, the captain of Clear Fork. Envelope 2 or 3?
3.
3, you got it. All right, St. V, all you. Set? Here we go. Plans to build a research station on the moon have been announced by what huge Asian country whose Great Wall has been photographed from space?
China.
That's correct. Not only does garlic protect you from vampires, but some research indicates that garlic will keep away what insects that spread malaria?
Mosquitoes.
Yes, it is. Italy's Apennine Mountains were crossed in 217 BC by what same Carthaginian general who had earlier crossed the Alps with his elephants?
Hannibal.
That is correct. To the monitor, here's your science question. Because there's virtually no air in space, which of these applies to aircraft but is not needed for spacecraft design?
Gravitational interaction?
Bernoulli's principle is the answer there. That's all right. We move on. An ancient Greek poet might have asked for inspiration from what group of 9 goddesses who were in charge of the arts?
The Muses.
That is correct. A TV weather person's favorite Shakespeare play might be what drama with a stormy title and characters Prospero and Miranda?
The Tempest.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. If x equals 3, what's the value of this expression?
8.
That is correct. In 1921, what man became the first president to ride in a car when he rode to and from his inauguration to become our 29th chief executive?
Woodrow Wilson.
Warren G. Harding, the answer there. But hey, good round, everybody. We're moving on. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Academic Challenge. Joining us today from our partners at Cuyahoga Community College, Victoria Montero, the Institutional Advertising Manager at Tri-C. She helps find the volunteers to join us as judges that you see every week. Victoria, thanks for being here. Look at that smile. Come on, give us one smile. All right. Before we move on, we're going to take a look at the scores where we stand right now. We have a tie here at first place with 300 points. St. V and Monroeville. Second place right now with 180 points is Clear Fork. All right, but now we move on to our picture perfect round. 8 questions in this round. Each one has a picture or a graphic that has to do with that question. A correct answer here is worth 20 points, but for a wrong answer or no answer, we take away 20 points. This is for all 3 teams. Hands on the buzzer, eyes on the big monitor down front. All set? Here we go. This cup was named for Lycurgus, the harsh ruler of what militaristic Greek city-state that fought Athens? St. V.
Sparta.
That is correct. This might have been a text from what explorer who, with Matthew Henson in 1909, was the first to reach the North Pole? Answer is Robert Peary. This is the bud of a leaf from what type of tree that gave Andrew Jackson his nickname? Monroeville.
Cherry.
Hickory. Old Hickory was the nickname. What is the area of this trapezoid in square units? Answer is St. V.
15.
16. 16 is the answer. Summer visitors enjoy spectacular fireworks each night at what French palace where the World War I peace treaty was signed? Monroeville.
Versailles.
Versailles, yes, that's correct. This head is part of a statue that had been buried for over 2,000 years in what large sea that separates Africa from Europe? St. V.
The Mediterranean.
That is correct. Used to absorb neutrons in nuclear reactor control rods, this is the carbide of what element whose atomic number is 72 and whose symbol is HF? St. V.
Lead.
Hafnium. Hafnium's the answer. This is a multiple choice question now. This Cleveland magazine cover features the cute but fierce Ohio River otter. To which of the following scientific orders does this aquatic mammal belong? Primate, carnivora, or Sirenia? Monroeville.
Carnivora.
Carnivore is correct. That's the end of that round. That flew right by. Stay right where you are. Our exciting grab bag round to determine today's winner. That's coming up. But first, we're going to mix it up. Stick around. We'll be right back. Academic Challenge. We are so pleased to have our school's advisors from Clear Fork, Justin LaPlante from Monroeville, Caroline Gessling, and from St. Vincent-St. Mary, it is Jeff Pitts. Yeah, he did do it. Thank you so much for being here this morning. We are going to mix it up now. I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. First up, Clear Fork. Here we go. All set? Hidden in this phrase about grandfathers is the last name of what pamphleteer of the American Revolution, the author of Common Sense?
Pain.
Pain, correct. A person who is very healthy and vigorous can best be described by which of these words?
Geriatric.
Robust. Robust is the answer. You can get a lion's share of points here if you rearrange the letters in this phrase to name what type of economic situation involving rapidly rising prices.
Inflation.
That is correct. You'll get all 20 points here if you fill in the blanks to name what 17th century astronomer who studied and named a major comet.
Haley.
That is correct. Here you see units of currency used in 3 different countries. Which one, named for a South American hero, is used in Venezuela?
Ryle.
Bolivar is the answer there, Bolivar. This cynical proverb comes from what U.S. territory in the Caribbean where San Juan is the capital? Answer is Puerto Rico. All right, Clear Fork, good job. All right. Monroeville, you're up next. All set? Here we go. Hidden in this tasty sentence is the name of what beautiful woman whose legendary abduction by Paris caused the Trojan War?
Helen.
That is correct. A student who is lax about doing homework can best be described by which of these adjectives?
Remiss.
That is correct. Get a new tint by rearranging the letters here to name what so-called shelf that lies beneath the ocean off the U.S. coast. Answer is continental. Continental. Fill in the blanks here, and you will turn this automobile manufacturer into what railroad tycoon who founded and named a California university?
Clifford.
Stanford. Stanford is the answer there. Members of which of these tribes never had to complain about cold northern winters since the tribe was located in Florida?
Seminole.
That is correct. With these words, a 19th century British prime minister dismissed plans to build a tunnel under what body of water separating Britain from France?
The English Channel.
That is correct. Way to go, Monroeville. Okay, St. Vincent-St. Mary, we meet again. Here we go. These are all yours. All set? As challenging as this sounds, we'd prefer that you find hidden in this phrase the last name of what 44th president?
Obama.
That is correct. If audience members were spellbound by a performance, they would best be described by which of these words?
Enthralled.
That is correct. You can rearrange these letters to get what Latin name for the Northern Lights?
Aurora Borealis.
That is correct. What same word should appear in these blanks to name a World War II cargo ship and a symbol of freedom located in Philadelphia?
Liberty.
That is correct. According to a census taken in the 11th century, which of these formed the bulk of England's population at that time?
Serfs.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. Though this title is not exactly catchy, it has the distinction of heading a scientific paper delivered by what first man to walk on the moon?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong is correct for the bonus points! There you go, we finished up strong. That is the end of that round. We'll be back with our final and deciding grab bag round is coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. Before we continue, we're going to recap the scores so far. In first place, 445 points is St. Vincent-St. Mary. Second place, 400 points, Monroeville. Third place right now, Clear Fork, 240 points. But hold on. Anything can happen now. It's time for our deciding grab bag round. This is a free-for-all. I'll ask as many questions as time permits. Every correct answer here worth 30 points, but a team will lose 30 points for a wrong answer or no answer. Again, this is for all 3 teams. Hands on your buzzers, eyes on the monitor when we need it. Set? Here we go. Just Add Water is the best-selling memoir by what champion swimmer, the most decorated U.S. female? St. V.
No, I'm sorry. No
Katie
answer.
Ledecky is the answer. If you wanted to visit Shakespeare's birthplace, you'd go to what small English? St. V.
Stratford-upon-Avon.
That is correct. I'll take that, yes. Each year, the average American eats over 25 pounds of what long yellow fruit, similar to a plantain? Monroeville.
Bananas.
That is correct. In 1863, the U.S. flag once again flew over what Mississippi city, whose capture by General Grant gave the Union control of the Mississippi River? St.
Vicksburg.
That is correct. Rear view mirrors in automobiles were introduced in 1911 at what Midwestern auto race usually held Memorial Day weekend? St. V.
Daytona.
The Indianapolis 500 is the answer. 60% of what number is equal to 150? St. V.
100.
250. One of the strongest earthquakes in recorded history hit what most populous city in Alaska in 1964? Monroeville.
Genoa.
Anchorage. The happy man who spoke these words in 1759 was what mortally wounded British general whose army won the battle for Quebec on the Plains of Abraham? Answer, James Wolfe. After being issued a passport which listed his occupation as deceased king, the mummy of what R-initialed Egyptian pharaoh was flown to Paris in 1974 for examination. St. V.
Ramses the Second.
Ramses the Second is correct. The vast, that's it. And we go straight to the scoreboard from there. In first place with 430 points, Monroeville. In second place with 415 points, St. Vincent-St. Mary. Clear Fork in third with 240. Monroeville, you're the winner today. The winner of today's academic challenge with 430 points. Hey, be sure to join us next time. We'll be featuring teams from Cardinal, Glen Oak, and New Philadelphia. We thank you so much for watching this one. I am Rob Powers. Study hard. We'll see you right back here next week. A scoring mistake was made in the final round, resulting in St. Vincent-St. Mary finishing with 445 points and Monroeville with 400 points. St. Vincent-St. Mary is the winner of this morning's contest.